This is real technological entrepreneurship. I'm going to tell you some of the problems that you're going to experience. This is what I literally have experienced this week. And then I'm going to hopefully give you a bit of a message of hope in terms of, what do you do when all this kind of stuff happens? So if you don't know me, I am a professor of innovation, and I'm creating the Reciprocity Project to give back as much as I possibly can. All right, so this is literally what happened this week. So on the way that I'm sort of marketing this is I'm talking to you and I'm communicating with you. I had a copyright strike this week because I put some music in the background of one of my videos. I had another video that I posted after I spent about an hour and 15 minutes talking to somebody on a Sunday afternoon. And when I posted it, there was no sound. And I couldn't get that recording because I forgot to hit the volume button on my recording. Then I checked out the platform and noticed that there was a number of different users. Their records were gone or disappeared. I don't know what happened to them. I think the developers might have made a bit of a mistake with something. So we got to fix that. Then I had another group that I'm just starting to interact with. Had one of my API keys leaked to the public, and that was shut down. Every single week, it's always like this. There's always some sort of problem that happens that's very real. Oh, and I was invited to write a grant, and my chances, I'm going to probably write about 20 pages, probably even more. And my chances of getting this are very slim. So I don't know if I'm actually I don't know how much time I should devote to this because it's just such a big, I don't know, it's a daunting task and not much is going to happen of it. So, but I still have to write it anyways. Then on top of it, I'm self-funding this. My wife is graciously kind of looking the other way. But then I'm always thinking is this how do I convince this to my wife? This doesn't make any sense, right? This thing is kind of stupid. It's really dumb. And she doesn't get it. So I just kind of secretly sneak away and do that. I feel dirty and afraid every time that I do this. Every time I click pay, and I do that every week. I click pay every single week. I transfer funds every single week. And often I don't keep enough in my bank account because I'm afraid of the fact that I'm doing this. And so sometimes, every once in a while, I get an NSF and not sufficient funds where I have to pay an extra $25. And this happens all the time. This is what technological entrepreneurship is about. It's about finding all of these problems, experiencing all these problems, and getting up and doing it again, and doing it again, and every single day. That sort of stress hormone, what is it, cortisone? I don't know what it is, but I get that shot of stress hormone every day. I wake up and something happens, and this is just starting. This is just tiny. There's so many problems that you experience, and you just have to roll with the punches and say, all right, well, that didn't work out as planned. Let's figure out what we're going to do now. And I suspect, and I've had it, the platform has just died. And the only thing I can do is just get out, get going and do it again. And I think that's my message to you is, when you do something like this, there's always problems. There's always something that happens. It's always feels like it's on a shoestring budget. And, oh yeah, that was the other thing too. I'm contacting So this is how funny it is. I'm contacting people to talk to them on Zoom, and I don't have enough money to subsidize this because I'm trying to pay for the development and not have my wife get really upset about it. So I'm contacting them, asking them to participate, and then getting them to record the Zoom and send it to me. Oh, it's so embarrassing. And then I have to spend a few minutes explaining why I had to do that. And I just want everybody to remember, when you're doing something like this, just roll with punches and imagine yourself as, I'm okay. No matter what happens, let's take a step back and think about what is actually going to happen to me if all of this kind of collapses and finishes. So for me, I think, what's the worst that's going to happen? I bankrupt the family, right? Like I literally think about that. That is a possibility. I bankrupt the family because of some liability thing. Somebody sues us. Well, what can I do, right? Like I just simply step out and I say, wait a minute, I can go get a job someplace else, right? Like maybe I think about this because I'm going to say something that's completely inappropriate and somebody's going to get upset. And by the way, that does happen. People do get upset about things, what you say, because they take it out of context. And then, I lose my job. And then I have to go find another job. So then maybe I just go become an engineer or, go do something else. Just be something else where I'm okay with who I am. And I think that's where I'm really focus on is, what's the worst case scenario that's going to happen? And the worst case scenario is probably not as scary as I thought it was going to be. And I just have to roll with it. I have to go with it. When you do something like this, you're always on the edge of, am I going to completely destroy my life? And I don't think that anybody sort of understands that until you actually do it. It feels like you're like an embarrassment. It feels like, like you're just right on the edge of always things are not going to work out. And, I've been doing this long enough that I kind of get used to that at this moment. And I want everybody to sort of realize that if you're doing something that's different, it's okay. And you have to sort of remember that that's how anything gets done, is somebody just stuck their neck out and they just did it. They just made it up. There's nothing that is fundamentally sort of good or better with what you're actually doing. You just actually did it. You just got up and you just made it up as you go. And I think everybody needs to remember that if you're doing something that, hey, and here's the other thing to remember. If you're doing something and the outcome goes the other way, oh well, right? If you have a poor outcome, if you had something like a failure, oh well, at least you tried, at least you gave it a shot, which is what most people will never do because they're afraid of actually taking that leap. So I encourage you to try, to get up, do it, be weird, and explore. I don't know anything in this world that would not get created without somebody actually doing that.